Welcome to my 30 before 30 video where I'm putting 30 things I'd like to achieve before I turn 30 into my memory planner, bullet journal, whatever you'd like to call it. So I've only recently turned 28 in April, and it keeps occurring to me that I'm getting closer to 30. And for some reason that seems to appear as a deadline for me to accomplish things, even though I know it's not, and I still have plenty of life to live and plenty of time to do things. So when I first thought about this list, I looked at some inspiration lists and examples, which had listed things I already knew or I'd already done, which helped me feel a little more accomplished, I must admit. Some of the examples were talking about like traveling solo, doing 1,000-piece puzzles, getting master's degrees, getting tattoos, learning new skills, and I've already spent the last 5 to 8 years accomplishing some of those things, so I didn't want to put them on this list. I mean, I love ticking things off a list, don't get me wrong, but that kind of feels like cheating. I tried to give myself realistic things, knowing that I could accomplish them in the next couple years, so trying to keep in mind like my work, my finances, where I live, and all the other parts of my life that contribute to or prevent me from doing things like this. I don't want to write things like read more, even though I would love to do that, because how is that measured? I need to be specific with what I want, and it kind of feels like manifesting in a way. And I know that the world isn't over if I can't do these things in that time, but I'd like to see what I can do. So without further ado, let's get started. Number 1 on my list is move from being a provisionally qualified teacher to being a fully qualified teacher. In the state that I live in, this can take a year or two and is just a lot of work, so it's at the top of my list so that I can get onto that quickly. The second thing on my list is to go back to New York. It was a place that I have been to before and want to keep going back to. It was a place where I just felt very happy and content with things in my life. I would also like to go to England. I have family there that I haven't seen in a very long time, and lots of adventures that I have mentally planned that I'd like to do there as well. The next thing is I'd like to be able to have a full conversation in Italian. It's a language I've been learning for kind of my whole life, but the kind of Italian I speak is the dialect that my dad and my grandparents speak. It's not like proper Italian. I would also like to start a blog on something that I really enjoy, whether it's teaching or crafting or something of that nature. The next thing I'd like to do is go to Japan. This has almost happened a couple times, but we've just ended up going to other places instead. But Japan is still on my list. And you might have expected me to say go to Italy. That is also on my 30 before 30 list. I also have family there. This is family that I still kind of talk to on the phone, but my Italian conversational skills are probably the same of like a 5-year-old, so that's why I need to improve the language as well. I would also like to get private health insurance with dental. I wish dental was included in Medicare, but it is not, and until it does, I think I need to take the private health insurance option. Next up, I would love to finish reading the Iliad. It's a book I started a long time ago, and I just haven't progressed very far. I would love to write, or at least write a draft of a children's book. This is something I really want to do because I teach children now. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time, but it's definitely more within reach now. I would also like to host a game night. A couple of my friends do this, but it's something that I would like to do as well. I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. I'd also like to go away with friends for a weekend. I do a lot of solo traveling or traveling with my sister or my family, but I'd love to do it with my friends. The next thing is I want to learn to use chopsticks properly. I can use chopsticks, like kind of. I've been to Korea and I had to use chopsticks and I can do that. and I eat, Japanese restaurants, and I can sort of use chopsticks there, but it's a little embarrassing. I feel like people are looking at me, even if they're not. The next thing I want to do is make fresh pasta. The last time I did this was when one of my aunts was visiting from Italy, and I was like a single-digit age. So I like to get back into the habit of making fresh pasta. Another thing I'd like to make is my own ice cream and give it to friends, family, and colleagues. I went through a phase during COVID where I made a lot of ice cream, and I want to do the same thing again, except this time put more love and effort into it so it can be gifted. While I was writing this list, I also decided that I wanted to write a full or life bucket list, including the things that I had already done that at some point would have gone on the bucket list, like solo traveling or going to university. Before 30, I also want to have at least 5 to 10 blood or plasma donations under my belt. In Australia, you can't donate blood until 3 months has lapsed. So you can do a donation, 3-month wait, do another donation. Plasma is more frequently, but my veins are trouble. They're trouble is what they are. The next thing I want to do is learn how my grandma makes her pasta sauce and write that down so I can make it. And following that is learning how my grandfather, her husband, makes bread and write that down, which I thought I had done at some point, but wherever I wrote it down must have been a very safe place because I cannot find it. Something I've wanted to do for a long time and I'd really like to achieve before 30 is to create a short film. I have it kind of ideas and plotted out, but I'd really like to get onto that. The next thing I'd like to do is to complete a 30-day exercise program, or at least 30 days. I keep starting these and then finishing them at like 4 days. I don't have a commitment problem. I feel like I keep blaming it on my time, so I need to find the right program for me. The next thing I'd like to do is earn some money on Teachers Pay Teachers, which is kind of like an online store for teachers around the world to upload their things that they create that other teachers could use, which I do already through other outlets, but I'd like to start on Teachers Pay Teachers. The next thing I'd like to do is make a list of 30 things I love about myself or my life. I think I really struggle to see the things in my life from an objective standpoint, to actually appreciate them, and that is something I would really like to do. I also like to do a 30-day photo challenge. This is one of those things that I keep starting and never quite finish. I would also like to tutor someone in something, whether it's a kid for school, but I need to sort out the conflict of interest that might have with my current school, or if it's in something else I'm capable of doing. One of the things I want to do closer to when I'm 30 is document my 20s in a scrapbook or photo book or memory planner of some kind. I know it's kind of long run documented in memory planners, but I'd like to just make a separate something, some kind of book, that it is just like a time capsule overview of my 20s. On my list is also to go to an educational conference or event. I keep seeing them pop up like the day before it happens, and that's not enough time for me to ask my principal for a day off. Something else I'd like to do is go to a craft conference or event, and maybe that's because I've just seen everyone go to Craftcation and all these other things that are happening in the US, and I've seen on Instagram, and I didn't go to them, so I'd like to. The next thing is to celebrate my 30th birthday with the super fun but kind of dumb idea of having it like 2010 Tumblr themed, like galaxy hair, rainbow food, the Union Jack everywhere. Really cringy, just like I am, just the way it needs to be. And the last thing on that list is just to be happy and be healthy because that is a lifelong goal that I've always tried to achieve and maintain, and it made sense to put it on this list. So I don't crash out and burn, I still need to stay happy and healthy.